and the Speed Demon, Colony Motorsports Chevrolet.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the most famous words in motorsports, the Grand Marshal of the FirstPlus Financial 200, Mr. Mike Shackford.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
With that command, for the 35th consecutive year, the best stock car drivers from the Midwest will begin their ARCA season on the high banks here at Daytona International Speedway. After 2 months of waiting and a hectic week of wrenching, rubbing, testing, and tuning in the Florida sun, a full field of 40 ARCA cars is set to compete. As with any season opener, there's the new. Teams, sponsors, names, and places mixed with the old. Yes, those familiar faces. Shuffled together, they'll follow an all-rookie front row to the green flag coming up next.
40 different drivers, 40 different stories, but none more moving or emotional than that of 48-year-old Bill Baird. On Thursday, he won the pole for this race, but Friday, his world was shattered when he learned that his mother, Millie, had suffered a cerebral aneurysm. Baird flew home from the track to Kentucky to be with his family. Bill returned to Daytona Saturday afternoon. His mother has been removed from life support machines. She is not expected to survive. Baird told me early this morning his family encouraged him to race today. It's what his mother would want him to do. Millie Baird was to be here today to watch her son race for the very first time. Today, her son races to honor his mother.
Kenny Irwin starts on the outside of the front row. He's raced in almost every division there is, and he's won in almost every division there is. This year he moves up to Winston Cup racing with the Robert Yates team. They felt like he needed some experience running up front, running in the draft, getting behind, catching back up, hitting on pit road. All types of super speedway experience. Daytona, Talladega restrictor plate racing is different. He's going to get some here today, and hopefully it'll help him in the 125 to reach his dream of making it to the 500 next Sunday.
Since Wednesday, we have watched and listened as 21-year-old Billy Venturini has studied for his first race at Daytona. He was visibly relieved after his 2 laps of qualifying that landed him 9th. Then it was time to learn about the draft. Aerodynamics 101. Now the studying is over and the final exam is about to begin. His teacher has been his father, Bill Venturini, a master's degree in this division, 2-time series champion. But all he can do today is watch how his star student handles the biggest test in ARCA, the one they simply call Daytona. Kyle, you know a little bit about that father-son deal, don't you?
I definitely do, Bill. I came down here almost 20 years ago to a test in January. My father said if you run fast enough, you can come back and race. There's not a more special memory in my memory than being here and having my father spot for me, talk to me on the radio, and guide me around this racetrack to victory. And I'm going to tell you something, when the Venturinis leave here today, it doesn't make any difference. Win, lose, or draw, they'll always remember Daytona.
Special memories of Daytona. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with 2-time ARCA champion Benny Parsons and former ARCA media coordinator Ray Dunlap. We're certainly glad you could join us. Benny, you're the best guy to ask this question, too. What does rookie Kenny Irwin need to learn over the next 200 miles?
He just needs to learn what it's like to race at Daytona with cars in front of you, behind you, beside of you. The intensity level in ARCA is about 10% of what it's going to be like next week in the Daytona 500. And what a great place to learn. ARCA is the best learning division there is in stock car racing right now.
And Ray, aside from getting experience, this event is a landmark event for ARCA that will impact these drivers in this series throughout the year.
Well, it absolutely is, Jerry. They've got 3 big races coming onto the schedule for the first time this year. They're going to go to Dallas, to Denver, and to Memphis, but none of that matters today because they're at Daytona, and this is the world center of racing. Now, there is a record purse for today's race, but all the tea in China can't buy you a win here. And no matter how many zeros are on the winner's check, what really matters is the winner gets to say, I've got the trophy and I won at Daytona.
ESPN and presents Speed World. Today, we continue our coverage of Daytona Speed Weeks 1998 from the World Center of Racing. It's the 35th annual ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series FirstPlus Financial 200. Huge crowd on hand under beautiful sunny skies here in Daytona Beach, Florida, and a field of 40 cars will start out of a record 73 entries. There's the folks that came to watch this 80-lap 200-mile event. Our Suzuki starting grid shows an all-rookie front row. Yes, 48-year-old Bill Baird. You heard the compelling story. Bill Weber talked about his mother. He is racing for her memory. And Kenny Irwin, the rookie, alongside in the Robert Yates Ford.
As we look at the rest of the field, all these fellas, you're right, Ray. Winning at Daytona is so doggone special. I did it in 1969, and as Kyle Petty said, he did it in 1980. One of my fondest memories.
And Benny, as we look back through the field, you notice the qualifying times. This field is tighter than any other field we've ever seen at Daytona. Just 11 miles an hour separating first to 36th.
We saw Billy Venturini, one of the second-generation drivers we've been following all week long. And farther back in the field, we'll see Adam Larson, the young son of Wayne Larson. Adam, just 19 years of age from Iowa. His first super speedway race, his first major asphalt race of any sort. Right now, you're watching it along with his relatives and family back in Iowa at home.
I never see Kirk Chumberty, the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt for many, many years. Mike Wallace is in the field, starting in 18th position. Everything he's got is borrowed. Borrowed the car, borrowed the engine, and he qualified 18th, thinks he's going to win today.
40 cars will start 20 rows side by side. The largest purse in ARCA Series history. Danny Pardis out of the Goodies Dash Series ranks. Randall Ritter, that wild ride he took at Talladega a couple of years ago. There's a former Rookie of the Year, Glenn Brewer. Glad to have him back full-time in 1998 on the ARCA Series Tour.
From England is Neil Cunningham.
And look there, Gary Layton in the number 74 car. He's one of the cars that I expect to come right to the front. They're a lot faster than how they qualify.
And there's Adam Larson, what is 19 years old on the inside of row 17.
All the way back to row 20. Starting back in row 20, a former NASCAR Winston Cup Rookie of the Year, David Boggs from Rock Hill, South Carolina. As we check in back in the pits with Bill Weber.
Well, the pit board is out to show Billy Venturini where he will be stopping in this race today. His first ever race at Daytona. Bill Venturini, your final words to your son before this race begins were?
Be safe. Yeah, this is, I'd rather be in this seat driving a car than here. This is too nervous for me. Or in the broadcast booth.
He told me he was pretty relaxed. He doesn't get too emotional before a race begins. But
oh no, I'm the emotional one. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this is a big race for us. It's a big day. I'm very happy that Ed Renzi's come on board with us, and Loctite and Henkel and Simonize and Dana Corporation. I'm just excited about it all and looking forward to a good year. And I'm nervous.
He told us Wednesday he wants to win. Can he?
If we get a good break, yeah. We've got a car that we feel can run at least in the top 5. If the breaks happen, we have a good shot of winning. I won't be disappointed if we don't, but I won't be surprised if we did.
Best of luck to you.
Thanks a lot.
A father today watches his son race for the first time at Daytona.
And you know, they've gotten some help from some of the Winston Cup crews. Jeff Bice and the Melling crew for Lake Speed will be in there to help pit that car today for Billy Venturini. See some of the Melling guys milling around there in the pits. They will be able to help give him some experience on pit road.
And that's Ed Renzi, the owner of the car that Bill Venturini was talking about. On board the American Online automobile driven by Andy Belmont.
He starts back in 20 spots. Last year's Rookie of the Year, Josh Baltus out of Dayton, Ohio. Just graduated from Ohio State back in December in the Baltus Commercial Chevrolet.
And there we see Frank Kimmel, the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet.
Last year's winner, Andy Hillenberg, a two-time winner of this FirstPlus Financial 200. He starts in 11th spot.
And the Midway Island Ford of Mark Thompson, one of the favorites to win this race today.
Mark Gibson, who graduated from high school about 100 yards from turn 4 at Mainland High School. He starts 4th, finished 3rd a year ago.
And we're right along with the pole winner, Bill Baird. And the Saturn Machine Speedy Pop Chevrolet.
First career pole right here at Daytona. Unbelievable. About to go green.
All right, 5 ARCA starts a year ago by Baird. Otherwise, never been at Daytona. Kenny Irwin, a rookie. Rookies on the front row. Glad to have you with us as the ARCA 200 is underway. Alongside Mark Gibson, they are single file up front, first and second.
47 car is Jimmy Kitchens. 66 Mark Thompson. The 1 car is Craig Butts. That's the James Finch automobile that runs so well here in the ARCA division in Daytona. First lap complete, and Kenny Irwin will lead the first lap of competition that he raced at Daytona International Speedway. And look what a jumble behind him as they battle for position.
Takes him about a lap to get up to speed here because of the restrictor plate, trying to get up to about 185, 190 miles an hour.
We're right along with Andy Belmont as he goes on the outside of Billy Venturini. And wow, was that close.
Woo. It was about 3 years ago that Andy Belmont took a wild tumble down the backstretch, and now Mark Thompson makes a move inside of the 5 car of Gerhardt.
And moves into the 3rd spot. Right behind our pole sitter Bill Baird and our leader Kenny Irwin.
Guys, there's no question about it. Mark Thompson is now a more confident race car driver. After winning a couple of races on super speedways, I think that changes your whole attitude. He said, man, this car is good. If we're there at the end, we got a shot at winning.
Front 4 cars, single file. They battle side by side, 5th, 6th, and 7th on back. That's Gibson on the inside for 5th place, the 59 car. Gerhardt up high in the 5. The 47 is Kitchens. Kimmel the 46.
And here goes Thompson down to the inside of Baird, trying to take a look. Can he make it? No, he cannot. He'll fall back in the 3rd spot. And Mike Giacchetti's in 4th spot.
Giacchetti driving the supply forward. Starting back in 8th position.
This is Bill Baird, the pole winner, 2nd place right now as he looks at the back of Kenny Irwin, trying to figure out how he can pass or how he can stay in front of Mark Thompson. And Giacchetti's going on the outside of Thompson, taking that Ford to the outside, trying to take that 3rd spot away.
Mike Giacchetti side by side, teaming up with Stan Hoover for 1998. Teaming their resources. Stan Hoover had a number of different drivers in his car a year ago. Had some success with about each and every driver.
And Jerry, the number 80 car is carrying an engine which was built by Danny Glad from the Citgo team, and it's a pretty strong power plant. Mike is making a move now on Thompson to the high side.
And Vinny, as they run side by side, that lets the front 2 pull away a little bit.
It does, because these cars, as they run side by side, they will slow down. But now here comes Gerhardt on the outside. He's going to help you, Kenny, move on past Mark Thompson. And look at him, 3 abreast behind. That's Ron Barfield, the blue car right in the middle of the picture.
Still 20 cars in that pack up front, so the cars from 1st to 20th seem pretty evenly matched.
This is Mark Thompson fighting his way through.
As we take a look at our Tabasco Hot Zone telemetry, take a look at the RPMs on Mark Gibson's car number 59.
As he comes off turn 4, heads for the start-finish line, we'll see how he accelerates or picks up speed down the straightaway. 182, 185, 186 I saw for just a moment. About 3 miles per hour. Well, 4 miles per hour he'll pick up from turn 4 to turn 1. But you see, he touched the brake. He did not back off the accelerator, but he did touch the brake to check the speed of the car just a little bit as Andy Hillenberg goes by on the inside.
Well, when he hit that brake, suddenly you saw Hillenberg's car appear on the inside. I guess momentum is everything on the restrictor plate track.
It certainly is. And look down the backstretch how much faster this car is. 191, 192, 6 miles per hour faster down the backstretch than the front stretch because that's the way the wind is blowing.
Okay, here's Hillenberg, the gravy-trained Chevrolet, the Earl Sadler machine. Take a look at his serial progression. Started back at 11th spot.
As he tries to go on the outside of Frank Kimmel.
Now, Bobby Gerhardt has not been getting any help on the outside of that pack back there when they're running side by side. And now as Hillenberg comes up, maybe it'll help him.
Hillenberg is trying to pass Gerhardt instead of help.
Well, the front three are single file, and they are side by side for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's the battle there. Front three with 27-year-old Kenny Irwin being shown as our leader here in his first ever ARCA event. The 35th annual FirstPlus Financial is in the early laps, and a rookie leads the way. Back with more in a moment.
Trouble.
Our Speedway coverage of the 35th annual FirstPlus Financial 200 from Daytona International Speedway is being brought to you by Texaco, a world of energy, and by Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. Well, we are under caution here at Daytona. A wild scramble out of turn 4 involving at least a half a dozen cars. Major contact. Let's show you what happened just moments ago.
Well, as they come off the corner, you see the one car. He's going to get it. I guess he's going to get booted from behind by Billy Venturini. He goes down, makes contact with Glenn Morgan in the 11. And down they go. And then we see the 50 car of Kenny Martin gets collected by the 49 of Joel White. That's the J.B. Well car. And Josh Baldus, the 18, is meanwhile is spinning. Is he going to hit anything? Keep off the wall. Looks like he was able to keep the car off the wall. Whoop, did I speak too soon? And we'll check this out from Josh Baltus onboard camera. Look at the smoke and listen. Wow, so close to that wall.
Wow, that is close.
Let's check out the onboard camera with Andy Belmont, the America Online on board. We'll see all the smoke start. I don't think he was involved, so obviously he's going to drive through the smoke. And the seas parted, and Andy drove through.
Well, Benny, at least a partial list of those drivers involved. We mentioned the car number 1 of Craig Butts, the 49 of Joel White. There's Joel White's car being towed away. He was involved with Kenny Martin, the contact in the outside wall. You saw some of the others. Russell Landrum's 85 car, Kurt Piercy in the 51. We mentioned Josh Baltus and Glenn Morgan also involved in the car number 11. Under caution for the first time of the afternoon here in the FirstPlus Financial 200. Back at Daytona International Speedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida, our continuing Speed Weeks 1998 coverage. These wonderful shots courtesy of the fine folks at the Bud 1 airship flying overboard under cloudless skies here in sunny Florida. What a gorgeous day for racing and what a great crowd on hand. We are under caution here for a wild scramble up out of turn 4 involving at least 6 cars. There's the Josh Baltus machine. You saw take the wild spin. We'll show you what happened. Watch the 1 car get a little bit of a tap possible from behind. Further contact, and then everything breaks loose out of turn 4. They're sliding. They're beating and banging. We'll come back and sort it out with more live action from Daytona in a moment.
Welcome back to Daytona. Coming off this last caution, this crash, the 1 car seemed to be heavily involved in it. When we listening to you guys talk about the replay, but the only place the car has bad damage is right in the left side door between the front tire and the driver's compartment. It's knocked in the crush panels. He says there's a lot of smoke coming in there and stuff like that. As far as the toe end, they checked the toe, put 4 tires on it. The front end seems to be pretty good, Benny. And we've seen cars run down here before with the sides torn off them that'll run fast, but most of the time not with a restrictor plate. So this guy's in for a long afternoon.
Imagine that, spinning at Daytona at 185 miles per hour and being able to go back on the racetrack.
Well, let's see if we can see what happened to this car number 1. Top of your screen.
Well, the red car is number 1. He gets just a slight bump from behind from the Billy Venturini car, and there's the damage. Look at the damage that it does to the Glenn Morgan car with that bump in the door. Obviously, Glenn Morgan hit the door bars on the 1 and did all that damage to the front of his car. Bill Weber?
Benny, I just ran down pit road, and as Dr. Bunch pointed out, Jeff Bice, who works with Lake Speed's team, is crew chiefing for Billy Venturini today. And I asked him, did he hit the 1 car? He said he thought he did, but apparently they believe he did not touch them. There is no mark on the front of the car, so they're not certain that he hit him or not. I can't see the video down here. You can up there. But the humorous note he added is that Bill Venturini Sr. was much harder to keep calm than Billy Venturini.
Well, you see the blue and white car right there is Mark Gibson in number 59. I think Gibson had to come on the brake just a little bit coming off 4, and Butts may have hit the brake, which started him sliding.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell from our vantage point how much, if there was contact, as Hank Wetzel waves the green once again, lap 13, 5 laps under caution.
You see Harris Devane, the winner of our last ARCA race here on ESPN in Atlanta last November.
What a finish that was, huh, BP?
Terrific.
Kenny Irwin pulling about 7 or 8 car lengths away from Bill Baird on the start.
The 2 car, Ron Barfield, he's going to be driving this year half a dozen races or maybe 12 races for the Ricky Craven operation in the NASCAR Busch Series, and we thought they'd bring New Holland down and run the ARCA races and see what kind of success they would have.
Well, they've had a lot of success, Benny, no doubt about that.
And here's Giacchetti right on the back bumper.
Mike Giacchetti in the car number 80. A pair of Fords up front. Baird in the Chevrolet. He's taking a look at the inside.
And Bobby Gerhardt. The Indians up in Upper Michigan must be excited that Kewadin Casino Chevrolet in 3rd spot, taking a look for the lead.
Bobby Gerhardt, the 1988 Rookie of the Year in the car number 5. The purple and white numeral car number 5 right there. Has never won an ARCA event. He said, I would love to win it here at Daytona, my first at the World Center of Racing.
Barfield going by our pole sitter, Baird. Right along with Mark Thompson as he's on the inside of Frank Kimmel. There he is, the 66 car alongside 46. Kenny Irwin still managed to hold the lead. He's led every lap. This is the 14th lap. Irwin has led every one of them.
Side by side, back for 3rd spot. And of course, Gerhardt in the car number 5, running on the inside. Andy Hillenberg in the 95 car, the Gravy Train car, who won this race a year ago from the pole. You're riding along now with his roof camera, basically looking at Frank Kimmel's roof cam, looking ahead at Hillenberg, and now Mark Thompson.
And Thompson on the inside is just not going any place as the outside line is going to town. Bill Baird, a pole sitter, pulls up on the outside of Thompson. All this going on about 15 car lengths behind the leader, Kenny Irwin. Tell you what, 46 of Kimmel and the 5 of almost got together.
Watching Gerhardt now from Baird's roof cam. You see him to the left of him is Mark Thompson. Watch the 5 car in the...
Doing some dancing, aren't they?
Oh, they are back and forth. The air buffeting the car.
183 miles an hour the last lap by there.
Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, Mark Thompson, as Ray pointed out, had a very successful season a year ago, including a very dominant car at Talladega. The problem with that is, when you're that good, you're not going to find a lot of friends. He cannot get himself a dancing partner at this point. In fact, his team has actually patrolled pit road looking for someone to help him, but they have not found any volunteers.
And Gerhardt and Kimmel still side by side.
Looks like a 185 mile per hour parade lap as they are side by side, 2 by 2 on back through the traffic. That is for 4th and 5th position, Kimmel and Gerhardt. 27 cars. Kenny Irwin, the Robert Yates on machine. His first ever ARCA start. Mike Cicchetti, good run for the Hughes Supply. Car number 80, that's in second spot.
Ford Thunderbird.
And the fourth car in line, folks, there, the 00, Rick Eckert, is now a lap down, and he needs to move over and get out of the way. Looks like he will, and let that parade go right on by.
Oh, that's very close. 3 abreast for just a second with Eckert on the inside. Gerhardt and Kimmel still side by side.
And Gerhardt's car doing a little bit of bobbling coming off turn 2 just a moment ago. The back of the car waggling a little bit. Now he tries to pull in front of Kimmel.
He does with the help of Bill Baird.
Those two guys need to get in line because there's about 5 cars behind them. They're all single file, and Bill Baird should duck in that line and try to get back up and catch those leaders.
See the New Holland car, the blue car, top of your screen, number 2, Ron Barfield. Ron told me in the garage this morning this is the best race car he has ever sat in. It has so much torque in the corners. He said, I have a great shot here today.
We see he's back in 7th spot. We'll actually make that 6th spot now as he's able to get by the 52 of Baird.
First time Ron Barfield came here was in 1996. He finished 5th in that race. Then he came back last year, qualified 2nd and finished 2nd. So Barfield's a strong contender anytime he's running at Daytona.
There's Bill Baird, the 52 car. He was our pole setter running on the inside of Ed Barrier. Jimmy Kitchens in the 47 car. That car prepared by Red Farmer. That's the white car without a sponsor. Kitchens impressive in qualifying 5th overall.
And Mike Wallace has got his barred stuff up right behind Kitchens. There he is, a number 6 car. Checking the speeds out at the line. That time the 2 car up Barfield a little bit quicker, 184.570.
If people are wondering what Wallace's borrowed stuff was, that's a lot of different people loaned him stuff to get here, including a car from Michael Kranofitz.
Oh, we heard the 59 car. Let's go inside the Tabasco hot zone and see what kind of speed that the 59 car of Mark Gibson's been able to get up to. 187 through the corner, on the brake a little bit. And I tell you what, Gibson's car, he's struggling with the chassis right now. You think so, Bill Weber?
Yeah, I know so. You can tell by watching Benny. I found out by asking his brother. That car is definitely pushing, so he's battling a pushing condition on that race car. Started with a real good qualifying position. Started in the top 5, but now he's falling outside the top 10. On the front stretch, big crash.
Oh, 2 or 3 cars come into the outside wall and slide along the wall, spinning sideways. The 21 car, that's straight.
And Josh Baldus, the 18, once again involved. There we see, and this time Baldus was not nearly as fortunate as the last time. Some pretty serious damage to his car.
As his car has come to rest in the grassy apron entering turn 1.
All right, Bill Weber, tell us what happened.
Well, Benny, they were going down the front stretch side by side. It looked like the one car just got a little bit loose, and then they got together, and you saw the results.
And there is the one car that he's talking about, of Craig Butts.
Second accident or incident of the day that Butts has been involved in the car number 1. He's a rookie out of Montgomery, Alabama. He is a lobbyist. Working down in the state capital of Alabama, former Alabama graduate. Having a tough day here at Daytona, driving for James Finch.
Everybody in NASCAR is a lobbyist.
Yeah.
They lobby NASCAR for rule changes and ARCA for rule changes and everybody else. Let's take a look from the 18 onboard camera as Glenn Brewer goes by. Oh! Just riding along and all of a sudden contact.
Pretty simple to tell what happened there.
Boy, you could even hear that. And poor old Bob Strait just happened to be a victim back there, had nowhere to go. See if we can watch it from our Bud One airship.
The one car got on the apron. He touched the apron of the racetrack, got his car out of shape, and as he tried to save it, turned right in the left rear quarter of the 18. Wow. Poor Josh Baldus.
Now the number 1 car limping down pit road, trying to get to the James Finch pits, but that car very, very heavily damaged. There's the Visionland Chevrolet. James Finch has won 2 consecutive ARCA 200s, and there they have gotten Josh Baltus out of the car, and there is Josh walking around behind the car, the 1997 Rookie of the Year. And as we said, a recent graduate of Ohio State University, graduated from Ohio State on December 12th and was honored as Rookie of the Year for ARCA on December 13th. Back in a moment. Well, here's why we're under caution for the second time today. Riding along with Josh Baltus, that you can feel this.
Folks, I don't know if you could. I could.
And from the Bud 1 airship, take a look at what happened to last year's Rookie of the Year.
Craig butts the one car on the inside, gets on the apron of the racetrack, gets loose, goes up, and boom, right in the side of poor old Josh Baltus in the 18.
Well, the drivers appear to be okay, and Kyle is standing by with one of them. Kyle?
Yeah, I'm standing here with Craig Button. Like I told him, I said, definitely not the way you want to start off the season, but at least you're able to walk away. What happened in the first one, and then talk about it, then what happened in the second incident out there?
Well, we were coming off 4, and somebody got in the back of me, a car in front of me backed off, and I had to check up, and the car behind me got into me, turned me sideways, and then we come in, get ready, go back out, and we were moving up through the field, and I got run down through the infield. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. They might not have a spotter up top. I don't know.
Well, you can see he's a little upset over both incidents, guys. But I'm going to tell you what. We watched some of the Bud shootout earlier. Same thing happens with Winston Cup guys sometimes.
So, Benny, what he was saying is someone ran him down onto the apron, which we didn't probably see. That's why he was trying to come across the racetrack and lost it.
I think that Josh Gibson in the 47 car, I think was side by side, or something. Josh Baltus was side by side with someone, and maybe he thought they were going to come down in front of it. It didn't look like it on the. It looked like he had room on our shot from the Bud airship camera, but he might have felt like they were coming down, and he drove down on the apron of the racetrack.
All right, still in any event, a lot of damage, a lot of repair work to be done on that car as we are under caution for the second time today here at Daytona International Speedway. Watch at speed as Josh Baltus, who has been basically a cue ball for both caution events early and this one here. In the early laps of the 35th annual FirstPlus Financial 200, it has been smoke and spins and near misses. We're back with more green flag action after this. Back at Daytona Beach, Florida, Daytona International Speedway working caution for the second time today. Kenny Irwin has led since the drop of the green flag. Mike Cicchetti, driving for Stan Hoover Motorsports in 1998, runs in second spot. Andy Hillenberg, last year's winner, in third. Bobby Gerhardt and Frank Kimmel rounding out the top 5.
And that was, I was talking about a moment ago about the Josh Baltus car being side by side with someone. I said Jimmy Kitchens at 47. In fact, it was Glenn Brewer in the 10 car. Ray Dunlap told me during the break. Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome. Take a look at Ron Barfield. He has made a good move from 13th all the way up to 6th spot now. So the 2 cars running pretty good.
Ed Barrier back in 7th spot. There's Kitchens back in 8th. He started in 5th spot.
As we look through the rest of the field, Cunningham from 30th up to 22nd. And we see all these cars off the track, pace cars off the track, and green flag about to come out.
Kenny Irwin leads him down, rookie driver, 28 years of age, out of Indianapolis, Indiana. After a year on the Craftsman Truck Series Tour, he will run for Rookie of the Year in 1998 in Winston Cup. As they come up to speed, Benny Irwin hadn't had to learn too much yet than anybody to draft on. He's been leading the whole time.
No. Now we see Cichetti's getting the challenge from Andy Hillenberg and Gerhardt on the inside. Here there comes a train on the inside. Frank Kimmel trying to go by.
Cichetti's car did not come up to speed at all like Kenny Irwin's did.
And Blaze Alexander slow on the backstretch.
That's the Race Camp Chevrolet for the 1996 Rookie of the Year. He will run for Rookie of the Year in the Busch Series here in 98. He slows down as they are scrambling for second and third coming out of turn 4.
fought his way into second spot. This is looking out the back of Andy Hillenberg's car at Bobby Gearhart.
And you're looking at a pair of ex-Winston Cup cars right there. Mike Cicchetti in the number 80 car, a car that Joe Ruttman ran in the Daytona 500. And that 5 car, a former Jeff Gordon all-Hendrick race car that Bobby Gearhart bought.
And take a look, Mike Wallace in the car number 6 just entered the top 10. Wallace putting together a car from Michael Kranovus, borrowed things from Robert Yates and Roger Penske and about 3 or 4 other teams to have enough parts and pieces to come down here, now being shown in 10th spot.
And Kenny Strader's, they've used Strader's transporter to get the car here. He came with one thought in mind. He's not going to win this race. We'll see.
Well, that's pretty. And I love the side-by-side high bank racing. The 80 cars, Cicchetti, the 5 cars, Gearhart, and Kimmel, the 46. You're looking over to the right of Kimmel. That's the 2 of Ron Barfield driving for Ricky Craven.
You hear the engine?
You don't hear him lift off.
Not on this racetrack. If the chassis is anywhere close to being right, they will never back off the accelerator.
Guys, this first pack of race cars has 16 cars in it that's still running in that draft. We talked at the top of the show about how much tighter the field was this year, and that certainly shows it right there. Still 2 by 2 from 3rd place back.
Let's check into the pits with Bill Weber.
Well, Blaze, Alexander has coasted to a stop along pit road. The engine was not running when he got here. They believe it's a plug wire, but now they continue to look underneath the hood. The engine off place sits in the car, almost didn't make it to his pit stall, so obviously he had shut the engine off quite a way back on the track. But they were hoping it was a plug wire, but now the investigation continues and Blaze parked in the pits.
Well, Blaze driving for Robert Day. Grady Humphreys there walking around the front of the car. He's the crew chief, and that'll call it a day for them. Unfortunately, just a limited schedule in ARCA.
Well, Blaze will get another chance to go racing here at Daytona. He's entered for the Busch Grand National race here next Saturday and hopes to make that driving a car that he co-owns with Jimmy Spencer.
They call that Operation Keystone Motorsports. There's Gearhart now trying to move up in front of the car number 2.
And Ed Barrier's going by the Frank Kimmel car. There goes Mike Wallace by the Kimmel car. So Kimmel was running 6th and losing positions right and, well, I start to say right and left, but it's only to the right he's losing positions.
Mark Gibson on the high side of Kimmel.
There's Billy Venturini, the yellow Simonite machine, car number 83. One of the stories we were following all week long, the second-generation drivers.
Looks like Hillenberg might be going to make a move on him, guys.
On the outside, he's got Cicchetti with him.
Gravy Train Chevrolet, last year's winner here at Daytona. And they are side by side. See if that Robert Yates horsepower can make a difference down the backstretch.
Cicchetti's going to go to the low side.
3 abreast on the inside, takes the lead. Wow. Got those 2 leaders side by side and said, I know what to do here. And he will lead this lap. Mike Cicchetti.
Lap 31, 49 to go, and Mike Cicchetti, a former Winston Cup crew member. He worked for Alan Kulwicki, and he worked for Rick Mast, and now he leads in ARCA.
Let's check in the Tabasco hot zone, see what kind of RPM, what kind of speed we can find as we go down the backstretch. The wind is blowing that way, catching a little bit of draft. 187 should move up. 188, 189, 190. Can we have 191? No, 100. Yep, just 191 as he drops the car off into the corner. And you see, by not backing off the accelerator, they go down to 183, 182 miles per hour in the corner.
And there was no brake pedal light came on either.
No.
Just had his foot buried in the throttle. Our Glasgow Hot Zone Telemetry, keeping you abreast of exactly how fast they're going off a gravy train in car. Andy Hillenberg. Speaking of gravy trains, look at them lined up coming off in the draft.
But you know what, Benny? I think Andy Hillenberg learned something there. He knows that he can pull up on the outside of Kenny Irwin and go to the high side and hopefully make that pass if somebody else doesn't foil him like Mike Cicchetti did.
Cicchetti started back in 8th spot. Now being shown as the leader. I mentioned he worked for a couple different Winston Cup teams. He worked for Rick Mast when Rick was driving for Richard Jessup. Worked for Alan Kowicki in the car number 7. And now, for the first time, puts together an operation with Stan Hooper for 1998 and finds himself leading in the FirstPlus Financial 200 here at Daytona. 32 of 80 laps are complete. Cicchetti is our leader.
ESPN Speed World coverage continues from Daytona International Speedway. Today, the FirstPlus Financial 200 ARCA race. We're celebrating 50 years of NASCAR this year, and all kinds of things planned here on ESPN. This coming Friday night at 7:30, the 5th and final installment of The 50. Telling the story of the NASCAR family down through the years of the last 50 and where it might be in the coming 50 years. Join us at 7:30 this coming Friday night for the final installment of The 50. I'm here on the Sports Center set inside the infield of Daytona International Speedway. We, of course, have been here for the 24 hours, the Rolex 24. Our stock car coverage started last Wednesday. We brought you the exciting Bud Shootout qualifier today, won by Jimmy Spencer. Now we're in the middle of the ARCA race, and we continue our coverage every day this coming week except Thursday. Tomorrow, the Busch Grand National cars will go onto the racetrack. We'll have qualifying for them, the Dash Series. You stay with us this coming week. We'll take you right up to happy hour preceding the Daytona 500. Well, we've had 2 leaders so far in this ARCA race. Kenny Irwin Jr. led the first 30 laps. Now Mike Cicchetti is on top. We go back to the booth and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Bob. Mike Cicchetti showing the way. You're riding along with a gravy train machine. That is Andy Hillenberg, currently being shown back in 3rd spot behind Kenny Irwin. Irwin in the Rebestos Ford of Robert Yates. Actually, it's David Blair who entered that car for Robert Yates. We should give David Blair the credit for that car number 27 that Kenny Irwin is driving here at Daytona.
That's right, because it's Shorty Edwards and those guys from David Blair Motorsports that's maintaining this Irwin car. It is a Robert Yates engine, and Robert Yates was over tuning on the car.
And that's a Thunderbird they actually had last year, Benny, that they never raced. It was a backup car to Dale Jarrett in the 88 team, and they thought it was such a good race car they bring it here and run it in the ARCA event.
And it looks like it is a pretty good race car. They're running laps right now about 184 miles per hour average speed. And that's after 38 laps.
We've talked about the front 3, but how about my boy back in 4th spot, the New Holland Chevrolet, Ron Barfield, as you're riding along with the gravy train Chevy. But Ronnie Barfield has come all the way from, 13th starting spot to run 4th in the car number 2.
And Jerry, he's got a brand new crew chief working with him on this deal. Vic Kangas, a longtime Winston Cup crew chief, is over there helping him out. They're going to run some ARCA and some Busch Grand National.
All right, and Mike Wallace trying to make a move inside of Ed Barrier as they battle side by side.
That's for the 6th position. Jimmy Kitchens right behind. And there comes Kirk Shelmerdine, longtime crew chief for Dale Earnhardt up to Richard Childress Racing.
Kirk spent 12 years at Richard Childress, won 4 Winston Cup championships with Dale Earnhardt, so a lot of experience wrenching the car and now getting some experience driving the race car.
And then we see Bill Baird.
He's in 16th place after starting from the pole.
We see Mark Thompson on the left, Billy Venturini on the right. Venturini now is running in 14th position. That's the young man we followed all week long. I would guess right now that his dad said, look, you're doing okay. Just stay in this lead draft. We're halfway. We got to make a pit stop. Everything is going to be okay. Run once again right along with Bill. We're right inside Bill Baird's car.
And folks, the reason we're following this young man and Adam Larson, these second-generation drivers, Billy Venturini and Adam Larson, that they have never drafted on a super speedway, and they are learning a lot about what the air can do. They say some of the veterans can even see the air coming over the car. These guys right now are just able to feel it and hang on.
Mike Cicchetti will pick up a $1,000 bonus for leading the halfway from Auto Value Parts Stores.
Midway Island roof cam for Mark Thompson. We mentioned two-time winner back in 1997.
As Venturini trying to get by the 46 car of Frank Kimmel. And that will move him up another position, up into 13th spot.
Mark Thompson's making his 75th start in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series today. Won at Charlotte and at Michigan in 1997. So 2 big track victories for him. See if he can get back up there and fight for it today.
See Warren Benning being overtaken by the leaders.
That's Ron Barfield you saw a moment ago in 4th spot, and Bobby Gerhardt back in 5th.
Kenny Irwin, the 27 car, was trying to get a little help from that slower car, the lap car, to get by Cicchetti. Not able to do it.
Guys, we've got a couple unfamiliar names up front there, a few that are familiar to folks that have been watching, but one guy that's not in the field today is Tim Steele, last year's champion in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series. He's resting at home after an incident in Atlanta where he had an accident, and he will not probably be on the racetrack again till June or July.
We certainly wish him a speedy recovery. Tim, a good friend of all of ours. I mean, what a dedicated, what an incredible year he had back in 1997. Tim Steele dominating the ARCA Series a year ago. All right, with 38 laps to go, they're going to be coming close to their pit window. It will require one stop and one stop only. They will probably take on 4 tires and fuel and then go to the checkered flag. We'll take a break and come back and catch those stops in a moment. Back at Daytona International Speedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida, the 35th annual FirstPlus Financial 200 pit stop should be just a few laps away for some of the cars, although in the garage this morning, I heard that some of the guys could go closer to 60 laps because of the gear they're pulling.
Well, they can probably go 60 laps, but they need to pit with someone. They need to maintain a drafting partner.
And Bill Baird, the number 52 car, is going to come off the racetrack and head for the pits just as we talk about it. He's the pole winner.
All right, he's headed down pit road, 65 miles an hour, headed toward you, Kyle Petty.
This pit road's a long ways at 65 miles an hour. Bill Baird had started on the pole, had dropped to the back of that lead draft at about the 14th or 15th position. We checked in to see if there was anything wrong. He said, hey, he's a little bit nervous about this. He's had a lot going on in his life in the last few days. He's just getting everything organized, thinking about things. They go to the right side of the car. Steve Cahoots is making the calls down here. Put the wedge wrench in the right rear. They've got the right side up, 2 cans of gas. Having a little trouble with the right rear. But he's beginning to make a chassis adjustment. No, I tell you, he's moving the track bar is what he's moving. So coming around, he just changed right side tires. Can't get the second can of gas in it. I'm not sure they got the second can of gas in it, but he's back out there.
Well, he lost the catch can guy. He ended up tumbling toward turn 1 there in the grass. He's up and okay, fortunately.
Man, oh man, that was kind of scary. Looked like he was going to drag him on the racetrack.
I wonder if the can just got caught or whether he just lost his balance.
He might have been trying to push the car and lost his balance, but it was a scary situation there for a second.
There's Timmy Cahuth there coming toward you in the glasses and the rest of the Speedy Pop crew. See if we can see what happened to the catch can man.
We'll watch. Yeah, we see him pushing the car, and he just got kind of tripped over another guy.
And he tumbled toward the grass. Fortunately, he rolled in the grass, so he apparently is okay.
And guys, they took on right side tires only, but I don't think you'll see that from the top 4 or 5 guys in this field. When they come in, I'd imagine they're going to go with 4 tires.
Of course, they're all on Hoosier radial tires for this ARCA event. Hoosier is the official tire in ARCA.
We see now that we've got a pretty good 2-car breakaway. They're about a second and a half in front of the 3rd place car of Andy Hillenberg. What about a second and a half looks like.
Got to wonder if we have a green flag pit stop, how much the experience or inexperience of the Winston Cup crew versus Mike Cicchetti's crew. We're talking about Kenny Irwin is driving for Robert Yates, and now Cicchetti, whoa, slowing down. I guess Cicchetti was slowing, and Kenny started to go around him and said, no, I'll stay back here.
Well, Cicchetti started to come in, and I think Kenny Irwin said, well, he was going to pass him and then come in. Then he decided he would fall behind him, and we have a lot of cars coming out pit road to you, Bill Weber.
And we were expecting this. The pit boards have been out for about 2 laps, and 3 of these cars are pitted right in a row. The 80, the 59, and a spin on the front stretch coming out of 4. It's Billy Venturini. He's in the grass trying to make his way to pit road. We stay green. Cars on pit road. Irwin is in his pit. 2 pits in front of him is Cicchetti. Gibson swings in between them. They go to the right side. They'll add fuel to get these cars to the finish. Clean the windshield. Right side scuff Hoosier tires going on the 80 car. Right side stickers going on for the 59. Kenny Irwin getting quick service from the Robert Yates crew and David Blair Motorsports. They've got the left sides on, waiting on fuel now. It's only 2 tires. 2 tires. The 80 car is down. Tries to get away and does. Irwin chases him. Now they wait for the 59 to pull away. He's in the race, and Venturini joins back in with that group. So he'll hook up with some pretty fast guys here on the restart.
And here's a battle for the lead as they come down off pit road, and Irwin will pass Cicchetti to take the lead. Kyle Petty.
Hillenberg did not pit with the leaders on the last lap. He chose to run 1 more lap and come in. These guys, they had a heck of a race on pit road, the 27, those guys did. They go to the right side of the car. Jack up the right side. Stickers are going on the right side. The other team down there, 52 car, Baird put scuffs on the right side. They're going stickers on the right side. First can of gas is in. Having a little trouble with the right rear. Lug nuts are falling off. They're picking them up. Second can of gas is going in. They're just opting to change 2, it looks like, because they've not started on the way. Right side tires only, and he's back out.
Well, Ron Barfield, Andy Hillenberg, and Mike Wallace all electing to wait an extra lap to come in. So those 3 cars now exiting pit road. They'll have to get together and try to draft toward that first group that pitted a lap ago.
I tell you what, Billy Venturini, if you're going to spin on the racetrack, I guess that would be a perfect place to spin, because he's got to make a pit stop anyway. So he spun right at the head of pit road. He drove across the grass onto pit road, and really and truly didn't look like he lost that much time on the track. The only concern would be if he flat spotted the left side tires, but I would guess that the vibration would tell him if he did or did not.
Annie Pardis exiting the pits, Daytona Beach, Florida resident, driving for Jim and Judy Gardner. Harris Devane in the pits, and the 46 car, Frank Kimmel. Here's Billy Venturini. And boy, did he dodge a bullet or what?
That the only question is, did he flat spot the left side tires? I'm sure they changed the right sides, but did not have time to change 4. He passed the 59 car the last lap, and this time he's behind him again. So all these cars battling for position. That's Venturini. Andy Belmont leading this group. Here comes Mark Thompson, guy that's running second, Bill Weber.
And he comes to a stop on pit road. They'll clean his windshield. He's getting sticker tires on the right side, right rear, right front. Thompson guns the engine, sits patiently in the car. Second can of fuel going in. There will be 2 tires only for the Midway Island Ford. They're going to make a chassis adjustment on the right side. 1 round. Now they wait. Cars down, and Mark Thompson shoves it in gear, puts his foot to the floor, and he takes off very patiently. Now the 5 is also on pit road. Kyle Petty.
The 5 car, they debated at about 13 or 14 laps on whether to come in and top it off. They were one of the crew that was talking about going 60 laps on a tank of gas. They opted not to. Now they've gone further than everybody else is. They've opted to stay out a little bit longer to try to stretch their fuel mileage as far as they can. He's working his way down pit road. These guys got brand new uniforms. They're looking good this year, starting off the year. They go to the right side of the car. Don't go the right side of the car. These guys are just gas and go, man. 1 can of gas in, 1 can, the second can is standing there ready. They go to the second can of gas. This is a no tires stop here. No tires. Second can of gas is over. These guys are gone.
Well, Billy Gerhardt, who is the older brother of Bobby, is the crew chief and has made the call. And you're right, Cal. They were one of the teams I talked to that could go like 66 laps on fuel, but decided to go ahead and come in and make a pit stop. The leaders have made their pit stops. It should be green now, all the way to the lap 80 at the conclusion of this FirstPlus Financial 200. Back with more live ARCA coverage in just a moment. Back at Daytona International Speedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Laps continuing to click down. 54 are complete of 80, which comprise this event the richest in ARCA history. $208,384 up for grabs, over $21,000 to the winner.
This is the leader of the race, a 72 car. Chad Coleman has not pitted. He obviously stopped earlier on some of the caution flags for fuel. He's out on the racetrack and has not pitted on this green flag situation, is still the leader. We see Bob Strait, who spun earlier, came to the pits, is in second spot. Donnie Moran is in third, and Mike Wallace and Ron Barfield of the cars that pitted are running fourth and fifth.
So once we cycle the pit stops, it should show that Wallace and Barfield, among the cars that have already made stops and are set to go for the completion of the race, would be at the top of the leaderboard.
The 5 car of Bobby Gerhart took about 12 seconds to do fuel only with no tires. Mark Thompson came in and got just right side tires with about a 17-second stop. And the 27 car of Kenny Irwin took 25 seconds, but he got 4 tires. That should be the big difference.
Yeah, these two guys up front here, the 6 car and the 2 car. That's Mike Wallace once again being shown driving a car he borrowed from Michael Kranifus in the car number 6. Parts from Robert Yates, parts from Roger Penske, parts from Kenny Schrader, and parts from other friends to get him down here. And Mike said the reason he was going to do this, Kranifus wanted to sell this race car, be able to sell some of those T-Birds. And before they ever got this car on the racetrack, somebody bought it. So right now Mike is driving a car somebody else owns. The guys who are leading up front, Coleman, Strait, and Donnie Moran, can they go the rest of the way? Why don't we check in with Kyle Petty?
Well, I'm going to give you the answer. Kyle Petty doesn't have a clue whether they can go the rest of the way or not. But like Jerry and you guys said, some of these guys were thinking they could go stretch it to 60 laps. These guys pitted on lap 22. They were involved in some of these early accidents. They saw some things happening. They pitted, changed tires, gassed. They feel like they can at least go within 1 or 2 laps. And they're talking about stretching it all the way. So when we start talking pit stops and cycles and things like that, without a caution, these guys are going to go for it.
Well, that could make it interesting.
Well, the 72 car is running 180 miles per hour, and Mike Wallace is only running 181 miles per hour. So obviously, he's not going to catch him. The fastest cars on the racetrack right now is the 80 Giacchetti and the 27 of Irwin. They're running over 185 miles per hour.
AutoZone race recap. Our leader is the car number 72, and then of course the efforts of Chad Coleman out of Greenville, South Carolina, has led 5 of 57 laps. There have been 5 lead changes, 2 cautions for a total of 9 laps. That's why the average speed is down to 144.836 miles per hour. Our lap leaders, Kenny Irwin dominating the early part of the race. Mike Cicchetti, Chad Coleman, our current leader. Bobby Gerhart led 4, and last year's winner Andy Hillenberg led a lap. Off the track, Josh Baltus, last year's Rookie of the Year, running for the championship this year, involved in a couple incidents. They are trying to get that car repaired and get back out for those valuable ARCA points. And out of the race, well, the list is Ed Curtis, Blaze Alexander, Craig Butts, Glenn Morgan, Russell Landrum, and the next page shows Kenny Martin and Joel White.
72 car, Chad Coleman, the leader of the race. Car right in the middle behind Kirk Chelmerdine. And there's Glenn Brewer right behind him. Brewer's a couple of laps down.
Chad got his college degree from Newberry College, and when he said, I'm going to go racing, he thought, I ought to buy a Winston Cup car. So he went and talked to Jeff Bodine. That's where he picked up this race car. It used to be a number 7.
It'll be 20 laps to go next time by, but the 6 and the 2, these guys have pitted most recently at lap 49, so they are good to go. They're probably wondering, when are those guys going to run out of gas or have a problem, or maybe get a caution flag and we can close it up a little bit. Mike Wallace on the left of your screen in the 6 car, and Ron Barfield driving for Ricky Craven in the New Holland Chevrolet car number 2. Barfield will run the entire Craftsman Series 1998 in the trucks for Charles Hardy. Run 15 events for Ricky Craven, 12 Busch and 3 ARCA. 59 of 80 are complete, and Chad Coleman is our leader. Back in a moment.
The Bud 1 airship sails high above Daytona International Speedway in the crystal blue sky overhead. We appreciate the Bud 1 overhead shots helping cover the FirstPlus Financial 200 ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde race currently underway. It's the biggest night in TV sports, and it's tomorrow night. It's the ESPYs, the 6th annual ESPY Awards. Pre-game starts at 7:30. The awards themselves begin at 8 o'clock. Presenters include Chris Rock, Alec Baldwin, Matt Damon, Robert Duvall, Michael J. Fox. Will learn about the best sports performers in 35 categories. That's tomorrow night here on ESPN, the 6th annual ESPY Awards, beginning at 7:30 with the awards at 8 o'clock. Well, the ARCA race continues here. Just a little less than 20 laps to go. Let's go back to the action in Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Bob. Looking forward to those ESPYs tomorrow night. And it's getting, they're getting clustered together toward the front. There's the car number 72 that was being shown as the leader. That is Chad Coleman out of Greenville, South Carolina, running right behind the Kirk Shelmerding car.
And in turn 2, we have the Kenny Irwin car, the Giacchetti car, Mike Wallace, as they try to work their way through traffic. There goes Kenny Irwin, and look at this heavy traffic in front of these cars. There's Jeff Finley on the outside, and Irwin goes by him.
And Benny, Kenny Irwin is posted now in 3rd place, but he's 19 seconds behind the leader.
There's Gary Layton.
And this is exactly the kind of experience Kenny Irwin needs, right, Benny?
It sure is. And there we see Giacchetti on the outside as he tries to come through this traffic, and Mike Wallace was right beside of him. There we see Bob Strait. As Irwin is moved by Strait into 2nd spot. That black car on the outside is Bob Strait, who was running in 2nd spot.
So this group here is actually in turn 2, and the leader is in the middle between turns 3 and 4. There's about a half a lap separating Coleman from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place cars in this group right here coming down the backstretch.
And here they are. Is that Wallace on the inside?
That's Layton on the inside, Bob Strait in the middle, and the Mike Wallace is going to the high side to pass him.
Gary Layton, the car number 74, and some contact. A couple of cars getting together. That was the 21 car of Strait.
And Mike Wallace, the white car is Mike Wallace, and Wallace has now gotten in front of Barfield. The 74 car of Layton is a lap down. Ooh, it's almost some contact between Barfield and Layton.
Quite a few cars racing right in this group that are not necessarily racing each other. They're just trying to get through this traffic.
15 laps to go. A half a lap separating the leader from the 2nd place car of Kenny Irwin. The leader is the car number 72, Chad Coleman out of Greenville, South Carolina.
Can he catch him in that amount of time, Benny? I mean, they've got it shaved down to 18.5 seconds now, but there's only 14 laps to go.
We'll just have to catch him.
Basically, Benny, we heard the concern over fuel, and you got to believe that this young man's smart enough, or someone's told him exactly what he has to do to conserve fuel.
Well, he's doing the right thing. He's standing behind Kirk Shelmerdine. He's drafting, saving all the fuel he can. Kyle Petty.
Well, a minute ago, the 72 was going to try to stretch it all the way. These guys change pit strategy more than I change socks. I get at least 3 days out of a pair of socks. I stick with it that long. These guys get about 15 minutes out of pit strategy, and then they change. Now they're going to have to gas and go, or at least they're going to gas and go. They're not sure, so they want to be on the safe side.
All right, 14 laps to go. We'll come back for the shootout here at Daytona International Speedway in the closing laps of the 35th annual FirstPlus Financial 200. Back in a moment.
Welcome back. The 72 car has decided to pit. They decided there was no need to change it. The boys getting some experience down here. They're going to do 1 can of gas. They were going to end up about 5 or 6 laps short, so they're going to come in early. They're going up for the whole can. They didn't think they needed the whole can, but they went for the whole can. He's back out.
Well, the young man from Greenville, South Carolina, got the lead at Daytona. A memory he will forever keep. In his early years as a stock car driver, he heads back onto the track. But Kenny Irwin, another youngster at 28 years of age, is now being shown as our leader in that car right there, the Rebestos Ford Thunderbird.
And he has, to start, he had a pretty good lead, but seconds, I don't speak too soon because Mike Giacchetti is right behind him. And here's the battle as Thompson, as they've been able to get by both Barfield and Bob Strait. Thompson Thompson's down 4th, Barfield 5th, Bob Straight's in 6th. Then we see Andy Hillenberg, he's a 7th place runner, and Frank Kimmel is in 8th.
They gave him 10 laps to go that time by, so 10 to go here at Daytona. And this ARCA 200.
And Barfield's going, Thompson is going by Mike Wallace to take over the 3rd spot.
Guys, we had talked a little earlier about Tim Steele not competing in 1998, so that really sets up a championship chase for the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series between Mark Thompson, Frank Kimmel, and Bob Strait, and all 3 of those guys are running in the top 10. This finish here at Daytona is very important.
I tell you what, this 66 car is absolutely flying. The last time by, he was 3 miles per hour faster than the leader. 3 miles per hour. That's almost 1 second per lap.
Mark Thompson, that's who Benny's talking about, this Midway Island Ford. That's the leaders right in front of him. You're looking at his roof cam, and Mark Thompson said, Daytona has been my Achilles heel. I've been here 9 times. I have finished this race just once. And Benny, you're exactly right. Look how he's pulling these guys. He's gaining on them.
Well, he starts getting that draft. He's going to be even faster than these guys.
Jerry, his average finish here at Daytona, believe it or not, is 27.28. That's terrible. He can make up for that today.
Here he's right on the back bumper. He is there. Thompson is flying, and look as he'll try to come off his tri-oval and dive to the inside and get by Giacchetti. But Giacchetti goes down to block that move, and Kenny Irwin goes down to block that move. Now Giacchetti's going to try it on the outside. He passed him once before.
Good boost there. That's what you need.
That's a spotter talking to Kenny Irwin.
And Mark Thompson trying to take over that 2nd spot. He lost his momentum. Giacchetti goes back.
That's what Kenny Irwin wanted to see, these 2 guys running side by side to be able to give him some room to get away.
Oh, Thompson loses it.
Or did he?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That will make the highlight reels, folks.
How in the world at 190 miles an hour do you save them when they're sideways?
Whoa.
What a great job of driving.
Mark Thompson is a jet pilot. We're not talking about just a regular airplane. We're talking about a jet fighter pilot.
But he had to knock up the nose piece. The front bumper had to hit the apron of the racetrack. He had to do some damage to that. That will hurt the handling of his race car.
And now Mike Wallace has moved into 2nd, and he's catching Kenny Irwin.
It'll be 6 laps to go this time, Bob. Take a look at the wild ride by Mark Thompson.
Folks, just watch. It's unbelievable. How in the world did he do that? Man, oh man, Thompson, you are the man.
Boy, is he a hero or what?
Telling you.
What a job. Here's Kenny Irwin, 7 to go. Make it 6 that time by.
Guys, I misspoke. I was wrong. Mike Wallace is in 3rd. Mike Giacchetti's still in 2nd.
There is Giacchetti in the car number 80, the Stan Hoover Motorsports Hughes Supply Ford. And that's a separation. I'm still impressed with Thompson's move. What an effort.
We probably ought to mention that Kenny Irwin is being sponsored this race, this one-time deal this year by Rebestos, the brake people. Their only sponsorship in 1998 will be this race today.
And guys, Mike Giacchetti's best finish ever on a super speedway was 4th, and he's running 2nd right now. If he's able to hold on to that, I'm sure he'll be happy with it.
Speaking of holding on, here's Thompson trying to get a spot back after that near wild slide up there in turns 3 and 4, trying to get 7th position back from Bob Strait in car number 21.
Couple of Joe Ryan engines running along there. The one in Bob Strait's car is the backup engine to number 66, Mark Thompson.
And they're right on the back bumper of Ron Barfield. So that's a battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Less than 5 laps remaining here at Daytona. Kicking off the ARCA season, first of 23 events on this $3 million ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Tour. Thompson looks to the inside of Strait. Will have the momentum.
This is about the spot the last time. Oh, he made it this time. But this time he had some air to lean on. The other time he's trying to get by Giacchetti. He did not have that wall of air to lean on and just lost control.
speeds at the line. You see that Kimmel in the 46 car was the fastest that time by. Mike Wallace second quickest, and Hillenberg was third.
Mark Thompson, how in the world? And look, here he's going by Ron Barfield as he comes off the second corner. So put Thompson up to the 6th spot.
Back up front, Kenny Irwin is first and possibly his only ARCA event. ARCA doesn't allow you to run if you're in the top 20 of the Winston Cup points. Robert Gates said, I hope this is our first and only ARCA event. Nothing against ARCA, but if we can have a good run here and then have a great run next Sunday in Daytona 500 and stay in the top 20 of the points, we won't be eligible for any more for the rest of the year.
There's the first and second place car, and the third place car, he's there, Mike Wallace, in all that Marlin stuff. And there we see Thompson and the 2 car.
Hey, and let's give a call to Frank Kimmel, too, running 4th right now. His best ever finish in 7 starts here at Daytona is a 6th place, and he's in 4th right now and right on the bumper of Mike Wallace.
And the last time by, both he and Wallace were faster than the first 2 cars.
There's the 46 car of Kimmel, the Advanced Auto Parts car.
Battle for second spot. Wallace trying to take that second spot away from Giacchetti. And the 46 is saying, who do I go with? They're both Ford, so it's not a General Motors Ford thing.
And Hillenberg's right on the bumper of the 46 car. This is really a race.
That is second, third, fourth, and fifth, all right together. And they're only about 3 car lengths back from the leader. With 2 laps to go here at Daytona. What a finish in ARCA competition.
Ever see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. White flag this time by. Kenny Irwin right on the white line. And here comes Wallace on the inside of Giacchetti.
Wallace won this race back in 1994. He knows how to get to victory lane. Hillenberg, a former winner, too.
Side by side for second spot. White flag waves. Irwin the leader. All right, spotters telling Kenny Irwin to go where they go, meaning watch what Mike Wallace does, the veteran right behind you. There they are battling side by side for third. Giacchetti in the 80, Kimmel in the 46, Hillenberg behind him, last year's winner. That's third, fourth, and fifth together. A little bit of touch. They are half a lap away from the checkered flag. Up ahead the leaders as you watch this battle side by side. The air buffeting these cars. Mike Wallace, the white car in front.
Oh, and they spin. And Hillenberg was able to get by, and here they come.
And Kenny Irwin will win the FirstPlus Financial 200. Mike Wallace finishes second. Hillenberg is third, and traffic coming by. Here comes Kimmel.
And there's Brian Kahn sitting right in the middle of the racetrack where he spun. Hopefully, oh, and Giacchetti has knocked off an oil pump or something, and the flame under the car. Stop, Mike. Hit the brakes right now. He might not have any brakes.
He's trying to get across the finish line.
He's trying to get out of the car as it erupts in flames. You see he hits the fire extinguisher, so he's trying to get across. And Giacchetti's still having trouble getting out of the cars. The firemen are there and crewmen to help get him out of the car. And they are finally able to pull Mike Giacchetti free.
It's okay. I'm okay.
Signaling to the ARCA officials, I'm okay.
And you see that yellow line right back there. That's the start-finish line, and he made it across there, so he will get a finish and not a DNF.
And he is a very upset, a very hot young man, and not from the fire. As Kenny Irwin has won the FirstPlus Financial 200, and Bill is standing by with his crew chief.
Well, Mark Reno, congratulations. You sent the freshman to school today, and he did okay. Came out at the head of the class.
Yeah, we had a great time, and it's wonderful for Kenny. It's pretty exciting, I guess, to win your first race at Daytona. You know, with the first race, I looked over at Robert and I said, well, we're not teaching him much except for leading. I said, we need to get him back in the pack and let him learn some stuff. And we had to do a pit stop under the green. He did a good job there. And he did everything we told him to, and he learned a lot. We're pretty excited.
What did you want him to learn today, Mark?
We just wanted to learn how to come in and out of the pits, what to do around other cars. You know, just learn the draft, because this is his first race he's ever done where he's done any draft. And
looks like he did okay.
Yeah, we're pretty happy. Can't do much better than first.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Mark Reno helping there with Doug Yates and the David Blair Motors. But let's check in with Kyle Petty with Mike Cicchetti.
I'm standing here with Mike Cicchetti. Drove a great race all day long. Put your car right exactly where it needed to be, and then with that, like 200, 300 yards to go, it all goes to pieces on you. What happened?
Well, we were a little tight coming off when we got in the draft. I was better in front than I was, following somebody, and we just got bogged down in the last 2-3 laps, and boys got a run on us, and Frank got underneath me, and I don't know if he got a little bit loose or what. I know he didn't do it on purpose. Frank and I are good friends, and I thought I had it saved, but you're going 185 miles an hour, but hey, this is Daytona. This is the greatest sport in the world. How can you beat being here? This is great. Get to talk to a guy like Kyle Petty. He's a beautiful man.
I don't know about that, but they knew you were here today, man, and he'll be back.
We can do what we did today in them 125s. We can do what we did today in them 125s. We'll be in good shape. We got a long way to go over there. I want to thank Hughes Supply and all their family of associates for helping. I know Benny got mad at me for saying everybody. I can't do that no more. But hey, we just appreciate the opportunity to be here at Daytona, the greatest speedway, run on Bill Francis playground. We love him too. Hey, it don't get no better than this. We'll get him next time.
Good job, man.
Hey, Mike Cicchetti climbing out of the car. I thought he was okay, but he called Kyle a beautiful man, so maybe we need to get Mike in and have him checked out a little bit there. There's what's left of Mike Cicchetti's car. Now from the roof cam of the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet.
Same thing that happened to Mark Thompson a while ago. You get on the inside and you don't have that wall of air to lean against you. You come off that corner and you just simply go around.
But guys, he didn't make any contact. That's what's important, and he's able to finish also.
And actually, if you look, he was able to limp across as you watch from the gravy train roof cam of Andy Hillenberg. You see the car begin to wiggle a little bit. The rear of the car wiggles, and then suddenly it's up into the 80 car.
And Hillenberg just barely missed both of those spinning cars. Unbelievable.
And Kimmel was able to limp by and get a 6th place finish out of that. So he did come by to get a 6th place finish. Cicchetti will be credited with 13th finishing spot. Now we go down to our McDonald's winner's circle where 28-year-old Kenny Irwin is about to climb out for the first time at Daytona and celebrate.
Not bad, Kenny.
Well, Kenny Irwin climbs from his car onto the roof in victory lane in Daytona. Congratulations.
Man, this is cool. This is my first race at Daytona. I mean, it's just Robert Yates, around August 5th, hired me to drive his cars, and I mean, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And I mean, this is just all part of it, and to come down here and run so good. But I mean, the goal is to run good in the Daytona 500 and the 125. So I mean, that's the next thing at hand. But Ray Bestis, Texaco, I mean, they put this car together so we could run this week, and I mean, it's just great.
It all began, the Twins and the Daytona 500, in this race, though. You needed some drafting experience.
Exactly, and that was the only reason we run this race, is me and Robert talked about, what we should run, and the ARCA race seemed to be, the thing to do, and I definitely got some experience today. I mean, the car run great, and I think they're called Yates Rockets or something, and they were awesome today.
Can you tell us what you know now that you didn't know 80 laps ago, Kenny?
Well, I guess just being out there, you just realize what it does in the draft and how cars can get by you. I seen the 90 car, 80 car, whatever it was, and I mean, he got by me a couple times just for the fact that I didn't really know what to do, and it was just, I mean, there at the end, I kind of figured out some stuff that I needed to do.
You certainly know how to lead at a restrictor plate race.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I thought, I'm thinking we just got to keep it under control, and we'll be all right, but just now we got to go to the 125s.
Okay, we'll see you there. Best of luck and congratulations.
All right, Kenny Irwin becomes the 28th different driver to win the ARCA 200. Today, he led 2 times for a total of 41 laps. So the young man indeed got some very valuable experience driving that Robert Yates Rabestos rocket. Back with more in a moment. Back at Daytona Beach, Florida, Daytona International Speedway, our ongoing coverage of Speed Weeks 1998. What a day. What an incredible day. Beautiful weather, huge crowd, and what a race and a wild finish we had as we check in once again in the ARCA garage with Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm here at the gas pump with Mark Thompson, and we're showing a shot of your car here with the front valence pinned under, and I was in the pit, so I didn't get to see it on TV. But Benny and those guys say, being a jet pilot, you got a little bit out of formation there. What exactly was up with that?
Yeah, we got a little bit low on the formation. Tried to go through turn 4 on the flat. Well, maybe on the corner of half banked, half flat, and turn the air dam down.
They told me, they said, now when you get home to see this on TV, that I'm not going to believe it. So it must have been pretty incredible, because it takes a lot for me not to believe this stuff. But your car worked great all day long. Like you said, you're about the first finishing ARCA guy out here right now. These other guys drive cup cars and stuff like that, so you got to be proud of that.
Well, you know, Daytona's always been sort of a jinx track for us, so we're extremely happy with the 4th down here. We'd have liked to have won, but considering the turn we took down there and, you know, about 4, 5, 6 laps from the end, I'm glad to be sitting here with a car at the pumps drinking Gatorade, you know.
He's sitting here and he'll be ready for the rest of the season. This is a great start.
And I want to say hey to my dad at home. I know he's watching this thing. He's been sick lately, so hey, Dad.
You probably woke him up with that little out of formation thing.
Probably did.
I guarantee you. And folks, if you missed it, we're going to show it to you again. This is a remarkable save at 185 miles per hour. Take a look.
That's Thompson, the black 66 on the inside of Giacchetti. He loses that wall of air to lean against, and watch this, folks. Watch this. He's crashed. He's going to back it in the fence, but he saves it and continues on and finishes 4th. Amazing.
I tell you, as lucky as that guy is, he's leaving here to go find Amelia Earhart. As lucky as he is, he'll find her.
I hope to tell you.
Okay, from his own roof cam. Wow. Just part of the wild scramble we had this afternoon, which was the FirstPlus Financial 200. Back with more post-race reaction in a moment. Certainly a special night tomorrow night for the ESPY Awards, and we've got a special year coming your way, the 50th anniversary of NASCAR. An incredible year coming up, including what is going to be a very, very special on May the 2nd. There is the NASCAR's 50th year of victory, coming up 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Friday.
That's the 5th in a series. And folks, the first 4 have been terrific. This is the last one. You'll want to see it on Friday.
And they have all been absolutely outstanding. And of course, coming up May the 2nd, ESPN and NASCAR's 50th anniversary Hollywood celebration from Hollywood, California. Benny's going to Hollywood.
Oh, baby.
Stay away from Rodeo Drive. Let's go down to, speaking of Hollywood, let's go down to Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm standing here with Mike Wallace, and his brother walks up. One brother walks off. Kenny walks off. And about the time Kenny walks off, Rusty walks up. You know, you had a great run today, and I got to say, the Wallace family had a great one. 1st and 2nd in the Bud Shootout, then you come in here and kick the rear end in this race. I don't think this is going to be like Bud Shootout Day or ARCA Day anymore at Daytona. I think we're going to call us Wallace Day at Daytona from now on.
That's perfect, Kyle. I mean, I'm so happy for Rusty and Kenny running so good in the Bud Shootout, but I'm as happy for our crew, because I'll tell you what, 3 weeks ago, we didn't even have a race car. Rusty's team, Michael Cranifus, I'd like to thank Michael and Paul Andrews a bunch. They loaned me 2 cars, a couple motors, all the wheels, borrowed some headers from him, intake and carburetor from Yates. So we pieced it all together and run 2nd.
I need you to be in charge of all my stuff for next year. As bad as I'm running right now, I need you to piece some stuff together. But, you know, it came down to the end. You guys were drafting. He's out in front. You know, you got to hope that somebody hooks up with you, and you just never could get hooked up with anybody.
Well, you know, fortunately, Andy Hillenberg and Ron were right there, and Kim will give me a little shot at the end and kind of weaseled my way through down there and won. And those guys got to racing side by side, made it a little easier at the end. But, you know, you stop and think about it. A 3-week effort against the Yates car is not a bad deal. And now all I need is a good Cup car. Maybe I can borrow one from him. We can go over 2nd round, run 500. But, you know, unfortunately, Carla and the kids didn't get to come down there playing with the horses. And I told her we were going to win, but we run 2nd.
You can't complain about that at this point in time. But let me tell you something. You had a great run down here. Yeah, I mean, I think you served notice that Rusty Wallace is back at Daytona. You know, I mean, you've had some bad luck down here. You've been on your roof a couple of times down the backstretch and stuff. So I think you served notice, and I think the Ford team served notice that the cars will run in the draft anyhow.
Well, I think they drafted really well today. Last night's practice, everything looked good, and today it worked really good. But I mean, that was a real shootout today. A lot of things happened. You know, I was in the back, I was in the front, I was in the back, I was in the front. Pit stops were great. Everything worked out good. And when that last lap, I mean, we had a roll, and all hell was breaking loose, and it turned out pretty good.
I think you made Jeff so mad he just quit there at the end. So, Bill Weber, I'm going to throw it to you from Wallace Central up here.
Well, I'm here following the Venturini adventure, which has ended successfully. We began on Wednesday. Billy Venturini had never raced here before, never turned a lap, but he came out okay, 9th today. Congratulations.
It wasn't bad. We're real happy with that. You know, was hoping to maybe have a little better run, but both the crew chief and the driver made one error. So that's the difference between winning and 9th, especially today. It was a real good race, you know. I need to thank a lot of people like Simon Eyes, Henkel, Loctite. Dana Corporation was on the car too also, just for this race, and hopefully we can sign a deal so we can buy Atlanta so we can run a whole season with them as our sponsor.
Walk us through the driver miscue.
We all come down pit road, and someone checked up. We all were braking, and someone checked up just a little bit extra. I hit the brakes a little harder, and the thing just came out coming down pit road. I spun through the grass. We got it going. You know, we got back in the draft with Mark and Belmont, but you know, Mark was pretty quick, and we were quick, but you know, the rest of the people in the car in that draft weren't as quick as the leaders. Leaders pulled away from us, and then you know, we didn't get the caution we needed. We get the caution, maybe we get top 3, top 4, whatever, but we're happy with the top 10, never running here before.
Okay, let's find out what the teacher thinks. Bill, come on in here. By the way, word from your pit is that you're much more excitable than your son.
Oh, I'm terribly excitable. Yeah. He did a good job. I want to thank everybody. I got to introduce this guy, Ace Kohler. He's been with us the last year and this year. He's running the operation with us for the short track program and helping me with the Speedway program. This is a total team effort. I'm so proud of everybody. The kid did a good job.
What's the most important thing he learned, Bill?
Oh, he went to school today. No doubt about it. He learned what drafting was about. He knew what it was to get hung out to dry, so to speak, and he learned what it was like to suck up with somebody, you know, when you get pulled in with the draft. Saved me a lot of work. Brought it home in one piece. We'll be ready for Talladega.
Well, thank you both for a great week, and congratulations, Bill and Billy, on a great run. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
And following up on the other second-generation driver, Adam Larson from Ames, Iowa, started back in 33rd position, brought it home 2 laps down in 25th, and that's exactly what his dad wanted him to do. He said, just finish the race, young man, and you'll get plenty of experience, and there'll be a lot of time down the road to get those top 10 finishes. Back with more post-race reaction in just a moment. Back at Daytona, our unofficial results. If you're scoring at home, Kenny Irwin got some valuable experience. Mike Wallace drove his tail off in a lot of borrowed equipment, finishing second. Andy Hillenberg dodged 2 spinning bullets on the last lap. Mark Thompson kept it from going sideways and up in the air at 185 miles an hour. And Ron Barfield finished 5th. And Benny, I'm out of breath.
And look where Mike Wallace started. And Andy Hillenberg 18th and 11th. And Bob Strait started 36th, finished 7th.
17 cars finishing on the lead lap, and the young man from Greenville, Chad Coleman, finishing in 17th spot.
What a thrill that had to been for him today, guys. He was out front in the Daytona ARCA 200.
And you saw Adam Larson back in 25th position, 2 laps down, the young man from Ames, Iowa. So they'll be celebrating out in the Cyclone Country, out in Iowa State Territory, where his family lives. We'll show you the last lap fireworks once again as they were battling side by side in turn 4.
Frank Kimmel, 46, Mike Giacchetti in the 80 car. This was a battle for 3rd spot. Kimmel gets out of shape, gets in the side of the 80 car, and Andy Hillenberg, the 95, just misses 46. Now, just misses the 80, comes home in 3rd place.
And remember, they're coming down to take the checkered flag.
All right, we'll ride along with him and see what it looked like to be running with Frank Kimmel. All right, now let's see who saw it this way from possibly the gravy train roof cam of Andy Hillenberg.
And folks, you wonder why that they use restrictor plates at Daytona, why they only run 185 miles per hour. Just imagine what they would do running to 205, 210 miles per hour doing that.
All right, let's check in the pits with Kyle Petty, who's with our 5th place finisher, Ron Barfield.
Well, Ron, I watched ARCA qualifying the other day, and when you qualified, you said, okay, we knew we weren't going to be really fast, but we knew we were going to race really good. And you were right in the middle of it all day long. Come home with a 5th place finish. You got a Busch car coming in tonight. You start Busch practice tomorrow. What a way to start off Speed Weeks down here.
I tell you, New Holland Chevrolet this year, and it run real good and all weekend long, but we couldn't get qualified real fast, but this thing started racing real good, and car got tight on me late in the day there. I mean, it just started getting tight up off the corner. I was having to lift up off the corner, and there with me and Mike Wallace were headed out there in front of the field. I said, man, this is good here, but I just couldn't run quick enough up off the corner to make ground up. But, Vic Kankis and the guys done an excellent job here. And, one thing I got to say is, I got to thank New Holland. New Holland stuck with me this year and laid all the cards on the table. And, I want to thank all the dealers and all the supporters there for staying with me.
I tell you what, got a new sponsor driving for Ricky Craven on the Busch. He's ready for next week to come around.
All right, indeed. Ronnie Barfield will run 15 events for Ricky Craven in 1998. When we come back, we'll check in on what was an emotional story we began today with. The story of Sturgis, Kentucky driver Bill Baird, who came back after being at his mom's bedside last night. Our Speed World coverage of the 35th running of the FirstPlus Financial 200 from Daytona International Speedway has been brought to you by the more than 1,750 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Quaker State, the quality your car deserves. We told you at the beginning of the day that our pole sitter, Bill Baird, had felt all the emotions a human being could feel, from the joy of victory in sitting on the pole to the bottom of the emotional drain of being at the bedside of a loved one. What a difficult 2 days for Bill Baird. Let's update his story with Bill Weber.
Well, Jerry, Bill Baird definitely racing under extremely difficult conditions here at Daytona. First of all, on the track, I know you're disappointed with the way the day came out.
Yeah, we had a whole lot better car than where we finished at, Bill. We picked up a push early in the race and had to run down the bottom. And I think lap 42, 43, we come in there on green and took on 2 right side tires, and that helped to push out some, but we didn't get full of gas. And so we had to make one more pit stop at the end, and never got a caution today. I mean, a good clean ARCA race had to be good for the fans and everything. We just need a caution bad. And, 2/3 way through the race, and I think we would have been a contender, but it was what is the difference between 22nd and 1st.
Your family encouraged you to race here today, Bill.
Yeah, I give it a lot of thought the night before last, and talked to my sister and my wife and everybody around, and said come back down here because this is where Mom was supposed to be at today. And we made it through the race okay. Got the cars all in one piece. I don't even think it's got a scratch on it. And we'll go home, get ready for Atlanta, and hopefully get another pole down there. We got a win coming. This just wasn't our day.
Okay. Well, our thoughts and prayers are with you throughout all this.
Yeah, Bill, and I want to thank, there's been such an outpouring to me and my wife and my family, and we thank everybody for it. And just everybody out there, that's got a mom, give them a kiss, tell them you love them, because it might not be there tomorrow. Thank you.
And we'd also like to say hello to your mom, Jerry, Betty Jo Punch, in the hospital in Hickory, North Carolina. Betty Jo, here in Daytona, thinking about you.
Thank you very much, Ben. It's been a very difficult month for us, having my mom in the hospital, but we can certainly all sympathize with the efforts of what would happen with Bill Baird. And as Bill put it, don't ever forget to tell the people you love how you feel before you go to bed at night. Back with more in a moment. Back at Daytona International Speedway, the great crowd on hand, and what a show they saw today. The Bud Shootout qualifier, the Bud Shootout, and what a wild scramble here in this ARCA 200 as Kyle Petty has caught up with another top 5 finisher. Kyle?
Well, the last of the top 5 finishers, Andy Hillenberg. I caught up with him. You've won this race before. You put your car in a position towards the end of the race to win the thing. But it seems like you guys just couldn't get hooked up enough to run down to 27 a car. And when you did, somebody would pull out on somebody and you'd get too wide again.
Pretty much that's exactly how it happened, Kyle. I mean, I thought we could make a run there at the end. Then we caught a bunch of lap cars and narrowed the racetrack up for us a little bit. And, I'm real proud of our car and the way it ran. And
happy to be back here. You know, it's a little disappointing after winning, but I mean, third place, hey, you're not going to win them all, and if you can run third all the time, that's actually a pretty good race car driver, so, and team. And I'll try to come back someday with a gravy train car and win another one.
Well, I tell you what, you run great today, and I know you're looking forward to that 95 car sitting over in the other garage running the Winston Cup stuff.
Yeah, I am. I don't think we're quite as good as that, but we'll try our best and race our heart out. And we was out there doing it today. We got up there early. As long as I had a lot of cars around and the buffeting, I could get through traffic pretty good. But when we started weeding some of those guys out on the tail end of it, I just couldn't quite make the moves that I was making in the first part of the race. And it was fun. I mean, 80 laps, being aggressive. That's how I like to race here, and we had a good time. We'll take our third place car and go home. I'd like to say hey to all my little ABCs at home and thank Gravy Train for being here.
His week's not over. You'll hear more from Andy before the week's.
All right, Andy Hillenberg finishing in third spot. Our final official results again. You see Kenny Irwin, Wallace, Hillenberg, Thompson, and Barfield in the top 5.
Mike Giacchetti, after that spin, would finish in 13th spot.
No consecutive winners here at Daytona in the ARCA FirstPlus Financial 200, and once again, that traditional hold-up. Andy Hillenberg won last year, didn't win this year.
All right, 40 cars started. What was the richest race in ARCA Series history? But our Speedway's coverage continues for 1998. Tomorrow, we've got NASCAR Busch Series cars. We've got NASCAR Winston Cup second round qualifying. And we're going to say hello to the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series machines.
It has been motorsports madness here at Daytona, but that's a good thing. But wait a minute, the shootout's over, the ARCA race is over, but that's not the end, that's just the beginning. These cars and rigs are clearing out. There are Busch rigs parked about 100 yards out there. They'll be pulling in here along with the Goodies Dash cars. They hit the track tomorrow. It's another full week as this motorsports marathon continues. And you stay right with us and we'll bring it all home to you. You don't have to get up, Kyle.
I tell you what, today with the Bud Shootout, with the qualifying race, with the ARCA race, I think we saw a great start to Speed Weeks down here. We saw some great driving, some of the greatest driving we've ever seen in the ARCA race, the fewest amount of incidents that I remember in recent years. We saw some great side-by-side 20-car trains in the Busch stuff, or in the Bud Shootout stuff, and I think that's what we're going to continue to see in the Dash Series, in the Busch Series, and in the Winston Cup for next week for the 500.
Thanks a lot, guys. Great job in the pits today for Bill Weber and Kyle Petty. Take a look at our lineup tomorrow. 11 a.m. Busch Grand National Practice. 1 o'clock NASCAR Winston Cup qualifying round 2. And at 3 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to say howdy to the Goodies Dash Series subcompact sedans. And don't forget about RPM tonight coming up. The Bud Shootout wrap-up ARCA highlights Speed Weeks news at 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight. And we're halfway through our 50 hours of coverage of Speed Weeks 1998. Coming up next is Shop Talk. For Kyle Petty, Bill Weber, Ray Dunlap, and Benny Parsons, I'm Jerry Putz, congratulating that young man right there, 28-year-old Kenny Irwin, as he's the winner of the FirstPlus Financial 200. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long, everyone, from Daytona Beach, Florida.